Followers of the Outlaws Pulling Series are quite familiar with the Madcap machines of the modified class, but now the series welcome a brand new category, the Light Limited Modifieds. There are not as many engines and smaller turbines, but they can often outpull their bigger cousins, and they always put on a superb show, as you'll see next.
In the heart of the Midwest, there's a band of modern-day marauders. Mounted atop their beasts, they line up to throw down. They are outlaws.
The Outlaws Pulling Series has rolled into Rock Valley, Iowa, home of Thunder in the Valley. Hello, everyone. I'm Claude Wood. Dave Bennett, Rick Carlson, and I will be bringing you all the action. And we have a special treat, the Outlaws' debut of the Light Limited Modified class.
Brand new class for the Outlaws, yes it is. Now, it is modified, but what can you run? We basically run what you want to, up to some limitations. Aviation, blower motor, all adds up to what you weigh.
And coming up first will be Kelly O'Haver. He is the co-owner along with Wyatt Anderson. They call it Captain Hook.
You notice it's twin engines, stair step. Butterflies go wide open, but there's no blowers on these tractors. This is fuel injected, so therefore they can weigh a certain amount. Oh, bounce and run and gun. What a way to start off a brand new class. When you have the flagman chasing you down, you know it's going to be a great day.
364 and 87. Not a lot of sheet metal on here, but it is beautiful.
All right, just enough to keep the dirt from coming down your back collar. A little too much bouncing around. Tires turning loose, but hey, here again, when you get the flag way down at the end, you gotta love it. Down to Rick Carlson.
Kelly, first hook with the Light Limited Modifieds. That was a good one.
Yep. We've been fighting handling issues, and I think we've got them figured out a little bit, and it's coming along pretty good.
Up next will be Bodie Ott. He's out of Norfolk, Nebraska.
The Warhawk, what a name for the Allison aircraft engine. 1,710 cubic inches, fuel injected, but outside of that, that motor is very basically stock. Here again, Light Limited Modifieds. The tires quit turning. The motor was trying to go. The clutch turned loose on him. 341.09.
You said the engine is basically stock. There's not a whole lot they can do to this engine, is there?
Not really, because of the rod configuration. Now, you can put different blowers and turbos and alcohol and such as that, but it went downhill on him.
Getting strapped in, ready to go, that's Brian Fuhrer, and they call the tractor Fuhrer Pulling.
No big name on it. Got the tube suspension. This is a blower motor now. Single engine blower motor, runs up against the twin injecteds. Oh, motor singing a song. It's a big Hemi. Once again, my flagman having to back up. Going to be a great pull. He's going to go in second place by 52 hundredths of a foot. He goes 364 and 35.
And you see right there, wheels right up in the air, but he's going pretty straight and true at this point.
And I like the way the front end come up. If you was watching the butterflies, the front end come up as the butterflies went open. I told you where the power was. A little skating around, but a nice hook.
And that'll bring up Andrew Beckman. He's out of Hoskins, Nebraska.
The Big Bang Theory. Don't need no bang. This is twin turbocharged now. You see a lot of different configurations in this class. Light Limited Modifieds originate in Nebraska. You see different versions of them throughout the United States. But the twin turbocharged, here again, you've seen the tires stop. The motor just couldn't keep the big gear going.
337.31, and not a whole lot you can say about this pull. Just ran out of horsepower.
Yeah, he goes number 3 with it. Looking pretty good at this point. Twin turbocharged motors can be very particular and just pull down and tire stop. That cost him some distance.
Taking a look at the Light Limited Modified leaderboard, the new Outlaw class, starting out with great close pulling action. This is Cody Meyer, and continuing with the various types of engines, this is a turbine. We'll see him when we come back.
The Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Association is brought to you by Bauer Built. Our strength is in our people and the customers we serve. Will Cross Seed. Good product, good prices, good service. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. And by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology.
Welcome back to Thunder in the Valley from Rock Valley, Iowa. Capacity crowd on hand. We're glad you have joined us. Here is Cody Meyer coming up, driving retired Warfare.
Love the picture of the helicopters on his fenders. A Huey helicopter. That is what this motor's out of. The T51 Lycoming. Now in the regular modifieds, the Outlaw's big class, you can run a T55. But in this light limited, you can only run the smaller turbine engine. Little bit of a bounce, but hey, that is not a bad pass. He's down in the dry dirt. In fact, he's far enough to be the new leader, 377 and 30.
Take a look at it again. A pretty good run. He is really working the brakes. You can see that right foot working the right wheel brake.
Yeah, he wasn't stomping on it too hard, just wanting to feather it back in. And then you don't touch it again because you want to go to the other end.
How are we doing tonight?
We're doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Great. It was a great pass. Felt good. It was a good track. Just everything's good up there. It's first time year. Outlaws, first time they had the light limited mods. I'm really happy with everything. I'm looking forward to many more.
From Scribner, Nebraska, this is David Turkledson, and he drives Jetlag.
Jetlag, another one of the turbines, just like the one you just seen. Oh, he's on the brake automatically. You seen that right foot just stomp on that brake. He was fixing to go someplace he didn't want to go. Front end's up in the air. Got it settled back down. How far is he going to go? Going to land it in there at 359.72. That's going to be good enough for fourth place. A little bit of a fire show. That's nothing wrong. Just a little bit of a fire show. On the replays, coming off the line, and wham, Claudy's going way to the left. He hit that brake hard.
So if you hit the right brake, he's hoping to pull it back to the left.
And that's what cost him a fourth place finish rather than a second or maybe even a first.
Coming up next is Blake Ott. He is the son of Bodie that ran earlier. And earlier today, Rick Carlson caught up with Blake.
How did you come up with the frequent flyer and putting it together, trying to decide on an Allison?
Well, my dad started pulling about 25 years ago or so, Econo mods in the state of Nebraska, and then we come across some Allison parts and we bought them. And my dad built these two tractors about 15 years ago or so, and I just started driving 5 years ago, so I've just kind of been in it ever since, I guess.
Is this your first time to Rock Valley?
I've been here several times watching and helping some other pullers out, but first time pulling, yes.
So, Blake all set to go. Feathers the throttle out just a bit. He's not on the brake yet, but I suspect it won't be long, Dave.
No, he's drifting over to that left side, but he's got some ground speed. Got some serious ground speed. Yeah, he's happy. The crowd is happy. Everybody happy. 391.17. He takes the lead in a commanding way.
Well, I tell you, the crowd was just about as loud as that engine. What a great run.
It was. Front end up, he was hooked to the ground. You talk about some forward momentum. Just take the flag at the other end. A great, great run.
391 feet. We ran out of course. The sled wasn't ready to stop. You had to stop it yourself.
Yeah, I backed out about 20 feet before I come to a stop, so there was still more left in it.
Great reaction from Blake Ott, your winner in the light limited modified class. Two aircraft engines take the win over the automotive industry. Switching gears now to the two-wheel drive class. And first up, Mindy Nelson. She is Don Nelson's daughter.
Don Nelson owns the truck. Mindy, college student, does the driving every once in a while. Started about a year ago and has really proven to be one of our top drivers. Oh, listen to that motor scream. Front end up. 312.08. Nice little pass. You can tell that this gal does not mind putting the power to the ground.
Spotted the sled right in the center of the track, going to the right just a bit, but this was a great run.
It was for a fact. You see it skating there just a little bit. The tires turned loose. but got back a hold. That's the reason the front end went up in the air. She will like that.
Richard Morris, a welder by trade, calls his truck Buffalo's Chips.
Buffalo's Chips. Now this is a full metal body. That is not fiberglass, that's full metal. He works metal in the industry, does a great job, and the new Hemi. Oh, we're off to a great start in this class, you bet. 3:08 and 42. He'll move into second place, of course, but a nice, nice run.
And the crowd really loving the looks of that 1946 Willys. Here comes Bill Oberste. He's out of Harrisonville, Missouri.
Oh, the old man likes to hammer down on the big horsepower. Missouri Gambler, man out of Harrisonville, Missouri. Had some motor troubles earlier this year. He's already on his second motor for the year, but he ain't afraid to put it to it. Oh, he's running tall gear. You heard that motor pull down a little bit. He goes into third place at 3:02 and 17.
And the crowd loving it. Coming up next will be a new puller on the Outlaw circuit. This is Mark Ham, and we'll see him pull when we come back. Welcome back to Thunder in the Valley from Rock Valley, Iowa. Great crowd on hand, as usual. We're in the middle of the two-wheel drive class, and this is Mark Ham. He drives Imposter, getting all ready to go.
A great, great looking truck, and it ain't no Imposter. It might say Imposter, but it ain't an Imposter. That frame's torquing. You see the body's staying straight, but that frame is torquing. Moving right in there with the big guns. He's going to go number 3 at 3:03 and 19.
Let's go inside, and we'll see what this ride was like for Mark.
From the driver's perspective, you can see that motor torquing a little bit. That is the frame working the rear tires, the torque of the frame, coming up on the flagman, laying it right in there with a nice, nice pass.
A good look at Kelby Shaw getting ready to pull. Earlier, Rick Carlson caught up with him.
The new truck out here, Kelby Shaw. How long have you had this?
Oh, here about 3 or 4 months now. Not very long.
What made you want to get into pulling?
We've been friends with some of the pullers around for a couple years now, and my dad pulled when he was a kid and always has talked about it for years and years, how fun it was, and our friends have been honest about getting into it, so we finally decided to. It's tough to compete against the Hemis, especially on horsepower tracks. You know, it runs all right. We stay about between 5th, 6th when we do pull, you know, so we've done the best we can so far. We're still tuning on it, still learning about it, so we'll get better as the year goes on and the years to come.
Well, that's a good attitude, getting all strapped in. This is Kelby Shaw.
The Texian. Now, he made a remark about the Hemis. That is a Chevrolet engine. The Chevrolets don't put out the ponies that the Hemis do, but this don't bother these boys none whatsoever. Him and his brother Kendall both drive this truck. Proud to have the whole family. Dad is Matt, Mom is Amy. New pullers to the Outlaws, and hey, he sets at number 5 right now at 286 and 66.
This was a pretty good run. Go to the replay, set up over on the right-hand side, and he's staying pretty much over there.
Letting it, giving its head, letting it go where it wants to. Don't fight it, just let it do its thing.
Well, from the grin, things are all together. You had fun.
Had fun, didn't break anything. That's the biggest part of this is we don't have to do too much mechanicking and nothing major tore up, so that's good.
Notorious. This is a gorgeous 1933 Chevy body style driven by Scott Weems.
Oh, the man out of Beatrice, Nebraska is going to show the boys how to drive tonight. The whole family gets in the act on this one. Oh, you got to love it. That front end off the ground 6 inches, and that's what you want in a two-wheel drive. 3:48 and 73, we got a new leader.
Those flames just make it look like it's going faster than what it is, but listen to this thing.
I just love to drive this car downtown one time. It is a cool, cool looking car, but you can't pick that pull apart by no means.
Scott, you got a bunch on the field with that pull.
Yeah, I mean, it was just probably one of those once in 30 or 40 passes. I mean, everything was right. The weights were right. I guessed the throttle right. Also, you know, a little luck was on our side as well.
You just show the kids that Dad really does know how to do this.
Well, every once in a while, you've got to do something to put them in their place.
Up next will be Dee Polson out of Springfield, Nebraska.
Oh, the lady out of Nebraska. Now, this gal is a pharmaceutical drug salesman. Bad Company, the name of the truck. Oh, Hammer. Look at that front end just skipping through the breeze. This gal's going to push the guys around. She goes number 2 at 3:11 and 87.
Love the body style on this truck, too. On the front end, the weights are disguised in the front panel there, right?
They hide them all in that front box. Now, you notice right here, she took off on that right side and it wanted to go to the left, but she was smart enough not to force it. Oh, you just got to love a run like that.
And that will bring up the Gunsmoke, driven by Robert Zychek.
Father and son team both got their own machine. This would be the Gunsmoke, this would be Dad. Mr. Two-Wheel Drive. Anybody wants to know anything about the sport of two-wheel, and they go talk to Whitey. That's his nickname. This track is working great for these two-wheelers. He goes 3:18 and 57. This number 1 spot's getting pushed around.
Good-looking vehicle here, too, set up to look like a 1926 Chevy T-Bucket.
And he moved off that starting spot. He went to the left. Everybody bends over to the right. He just shot the middle, knew right where he wanted to go.
Straightforward. Well, that's the goal of Chad Musel.
Kansas City, Kansas. You don't hear many pullers out of Kansas. I only know 2 that run with the Outlaws. One's a modified, and of course this two-wheel drive truck right here. Ford body. You don't got to run a Ford motor, but he likes the Ford body, getting a little high. Oh, look out. Yeah, that ain't nothing that a wrecker and a little welding rod won't fix.
Well, when you go that high in the air, something's got to change when you come back down. He went 304 feet, .60. A good pull.
Just dropped it a little too hard. I don't think it was welded too good to begin with.
Scott Wien's your leader so far, but the ladies are holding strong in 3rd and 4th place. And Chad Musel ends up in 6th place, even though he had a little mishap. Stay with us. We'll be back with more.
The Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Association is brought to you by Extreme Performance Tire Cutting, Be Supreme, by Extreme, Agency 212, Marketing, Communications, Public Relations, VP Racing, world leader in race fuel technology, and by Steel Rubber, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping.
Welcome back to Thunder in the Valley from Rock Valley, Iowa, and the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Series. We're still in two-wheel drive. This is Timothy Fitzsimmons driving his 1925 Ford T-Bucket.
Country Heat out of Macon, Missouri. Macon, Missouri, the home of a lot of famous pullers, and Timmy being one of them. Oh, man. Riding high, riding hard, riding far. 320.08. He moves into number 2 with Country Heat.
And right off the launch, above the engine, you see the butterflies, and they are full open now.
Oh, riding it pretty good right there. Straight shot. Good ground speed. Look at the dirt churning up behind those tires on the buckboard. A great pull.
Timothy Mikowski is our next puller out of LaGrange, Texas. He drives Thumper.
Man's an electrician by trade, and the Thumper is a brand new truck for him. He bought it this year, campaigning on the Outlaw circuit, butterflies going wide open. One thing about this Rock Valley track, it is holding good for these two-wheel drives, getting good traction, and he just proved it right here as he will go into number 5 at 3:10 and 47.
And the crowd loving that. Cole Zychek coming up next, getting ready to go. He spends a lot of time out on the road, as do the other Outlaw pullers, and that can have its problems.
Normally you'd see breakage like this coupler, which is the driveline piece, out on a pulling course, but not this time. Cole Zychek, what happened?
Well, we pulled in Whitewright, Texas last weekend, and we left to go home and bale some hay, and we were 6 miles from the house, and there was a wreck about 100 yards in front of us, and it was a 3-car wreck, and all the cars traveling southbound just come to a stop, and as you know, these 80,000-pound big rigs just can't stop on a dime, and we hit the brakes, and I guess our chains were getting a little old, and the 2 trucks on the bottom come loose, and they rolled around, and on my truck, it rides on top. We have a lift, and the chain broke, and it rolled forward, and the motor, it pushed the motor up and broke some motor mounts, and as you can tell, it broke all these pieces on the driveline.
Breakage, it happens, but not always on the pulling course.
The Texas two-step is a 1923 Chevy T-Bucket.
The man, the Texas two-step can hammer down. Cole got it all put back together after his wreck, and he is going to be gunning for that #1 spot. He knows what it's like to win. This young man has took some good lessons from his dad. Burning it in. Whoa! Oh, you hate to see that. You hate to see that. That is a burnt piston. He just burned a hole in the top of a piston as he moved into second place at 3:30 and 50.
A good run going, but what would have caused the piston to burn?
Just got too hot, leaned out. He was lean and mean trying to win this show here in Rock Valley, and a lean motor burns pistons.
That'll bring up Brian Nelson. He's out of Rome, Texas.
Texas Stampede. Brian Nelson, now he is the uncle to Mindy Nelson. Now Mindy's sitting up there all 4th or 5th, something like that right now. So Uncle's going to shoot at her. He's going to shoot at everybody. He's wanting to take the man from Nebraska down. He's wanting to stampede him. He's making a run at him. He's going to burn it in. Let's see where he goes. 3:20.41. That'll put him into #3.
Two-wheel drive final results. Scott Weens out of Nebraska takes his first win of the season. And that'll put a wrap on it from Thunder in the Valley from Rock Valley, Iowa. Now for Rick Carlson and Dave Bennett, Claude Wood, so long. See you next time.